So I would like to point out something I think that many could have possibly missed with the latest episode of Kokkoku. When Juri crushed the stone and then crushed whatever was inside of it, I don't know exactly what that is. I guess the simplest term would be calling it the core of the Master Stone. But when she crushed it, the way it looked like some form of organ, or like some form of specter. And looking at the thing that Juri crushed on the floor, and looking at the scene just multiple times, I was like, is that potentially a piece of a herald or a specter? But I could be wrong there, but that's just my assumption. And if so, think about how the new herald that was introduced in this episode could potentially be harvested to leave stasis, if that is indeed an organ from a herald. I want to point that out. Sagwa. So we already knew that Sagwa, he is a very different type of villain. He is someone that's very calm. He is someone that wants to see the future. And when you look at his character, we get to see a little bit more clarification in this episode. Now, when you first look at him, maybe he might want world domination, since he wants to be able to freely leave stasis and have a very long life, basically at the state of immortality, and travel throughout, the future and stuff. Then you would assume maybe he would want to gain a lot of power. Once he finally did, leave stasis, he had complete control, he had all this strength, you think he would want to, have world domination. He would want to take over and just control society. But then we get some clarification that that is not exactly what Sagwa wants at all. He's an individual that thinks long-term. And when you think of long-term, usually in our day and age, when we think of long-term, we think of, conquering the world. That's what you would assume. Like, if someone had a lot of power and stuff, you'd think that's what they would do. They would be king of the world. But since Sagwa, he wants to transcend time itself and be able to live till the end of days, basically, he doesn't look at stuff like that. That's just too little. That's too little of a goal for him, because he doesn't want to be the ruler of, the world for a couple decades or centuries. He doesn't care about that. He wants to see the end of everything. He wants to see how society is. And the overall subject, it was very real. It was a very real part of the episode that I think many of us in real life have thought about one or two times while just sitting back and thinking random stuff. I know at the very least I have. When I have one day just sat down, I'm thinking if I could live for over 100 years, 200 years, or just live for 1,000 years, okay? No, longer than a normal human, imagine what you would see, okay? Imagine, I was born in 1995, and if I was to be able to live till 2,150, imagine all the stuff I would be able to see. All of the progression with technology, humanity, if we'll be able to go to the stars. I mean, just imagine the things that we would be able to probably accomplish as a species, and probably see how culture changes in general over many, many decades. And when you see that popped up in this episode, I'm like, that's very real. That is something that many, many people in society would love to be able to see. How much, culture changes, civilization changes with time. And I think Sagwa's overall fascination, wanting to live that long and see everything, it makes logical sense. However, he wants to go even beyond that. He wants to go beyond the end of humanity. He wants to go beyond that. He wants to see everything. He wants to see the end of the entirety of the universe itself. When you see how there's this big camera angle where it just starts zooming out and you see the entirety of galaxies, solar systems, and stuff like that, yeah, but to where it lets us know that Sagwa, he doesn't really necessarily care about just the planet Earth. He doesn't just care about humanity. He wants to see the entirety of time. He wants to see when the heat death of the universe hits and everybody just vanishes or dies, or the entirety of everything in the universe just ends up gone. He wants to see that. He wants to see the universe end, and he wants to see probably a new universe begin. What will happen? Will a new universe be born? So let's talk about the turncoat, Shiomi. I think that's the name, what his name is, Shiomi. If I'm saying his name wrong, correct me in the comments below. But the dude that's been hanging out with, Sagwa and all that, and they try to turn him over in the last episode, get him on their side, well, he changes over to Juri's side because the Master Stone was broken. And I love how quick that scene was. Soon as the Master Stone was broken, they entered the room, they looked at it, you saw how Sagwa, he put his two fingers up, you had these blades pop out, he instantly was trying to attack Shiomi, which meant that he knew that Shiomi was no longer going to work with him. He knew he was going to become a turncoat, and Shiomi also also, he quickly changed sides and all that and jumped over to Juri, which just shows that these two really had a good understanding of each other, and they knew both of them were on shaky footing. As long as the Master Stone was there, they were fine, but as soon as it was gone, Saga was like, it's time to, cut you out of the equation. So I thought that was really cool. I like that little tidbit scene of how quick that was. It just shows the level of intelligence of Shiomi and also Saga, and how they both realized as soon as that stone was gone, their little, partnership was completely over in the first place. But, once that was done, though, let's talk about, the situation with Juri. So Juri, she broke the Master Stone, and this is a problem. There's a lot of consequences for it, but at the same time, there is a potential possibility it might not be that bad, depending on where the writer wants to take it. As I already said in this video, what we saw in the Master Stone, that could be potentially a part of a herald, and we already know that there's a new herald that popped up, and so when you look at all these little details here, most likely they might be able to make a new Master Stone. So it's not GG yet, but let's just say that isn't an organ. Let's say they can't make another Master Stone, okay? Let's just go on a limb here and say they cannot make another Master Stone. What happens next? Well, obviously, Juri, she can, get everybody else out of stasis. She can push them out. It might cause a little bit of harm to their body, but overall, she can get them out of stasis. So not everybody's going to be stuck here. However, Juri cannot get herself out of stasis. She cannot expel herself from stasis, which leads to a problem, because that means that once everybody is gone, she's just going to be stuck there by herself lonely, or with Saga if he's still there. She's going to be just all by herself lonely, not really having nothing to do, and eventually she's just going to die of old age. She can't go back. Or she becomes a herald and she just joins the world of stasis, one or the other. I mean, she could potentially become something like Saga, which that would be a very interesting twist if that's where the writer wants to take it. It'd be a very different ending. I mean, now that I think about it, I would like something like that. Seeing how Juri becomes, like, what Saga is or wants to become, she becomes a perfected version of it, and then she's able to leave stasis. Now, that would be cool. But I do believe by the way the plot is going, I assume they're probably going to be able to make another Master Stone, and that's just my assumption. But, leaving off of that for a second, let's talk about other little details. Let's talk about Makoto. The little boy, the nephew, and all that. Well, he unlocks a power in this episode. Now, it's to be kind of expected. We have seen majority of our characters display unique powers, and so it's not out of the realm of possibility when we saw the little boy starting to use a power. However, his power is extremely OP for, the world of stasis standards. I mean, Juri being able to kick people out of stasis, that's a pretty strong ability, not gonna lie. But, I mean, what Makoto has is on a whole new level, because this man, he can control heralds. Now, at first glance, that might not seem like it's that crazy, but think about it, okay? If Makoto was a messed up individual, okay, let's see if he was a really bad person, he could try to have killing intent, try to hurt somebody, and then he could control the herald and not touch him. And then there you go. He can do whatever he wants in the world of stasis. That is a scary thought when you think about it, that, Makoto could do something like that if he was not a good kid. And on top of that, the power, being able to control a herald, which is basically like a god of this world and all that, yeah, it does make me wonder if Makoto is able to control Saga. Now, I know Saga isn't completely a herald, like he's different than a normal herald. He has his own will from what we have seen, so I don't think he'll probably be controlled, but there might be a possibility that Makoto could control the Spectre within, Saga, because we don't really know if it's actually the Spectres being controlled, or if it was actually the Herald being controlled. Whatever it may be, though, I do believe Makoto is going to be a very big, crucial part for whatever is going to happen next for the story. Now, let's talk about what, the father did. So, the father, he did a very scummy move. He, basically said the power that Makoto used in this episode, being able to control the heralds, was his. He was like, I am able to do this. I am able to stop and control the heralds. And it's a pretty scummy move, okay? He's trying to use this entire situation to be able to get more influence for he can not have the Master Stone get destroyed. Little does he know the Master Stone is pretty much already gone, or it is gone, and so he can't really do anything, even if he was to gain influence, or if he had that power, nothing's going to change that in the first place. So, I mean, right there, he's being a little bit of a scumbag. He's just trying to make it look like he's important, that he can do something crazy, and then you have it to where, they will want to communicate with him, and he'll say, like, hey, don't break the Master Stone. That's what he's trying to do in that moment. But at the same time, you can also view it in an indirect way. He is protecting Makoto and him from being, like, targeted, because Makoto, his ability is, like I said, busted. And if Saga found out that Makoto had that, obviously he's gonna target Makoto. So, Takafumi and all that, the father actually saying he is using it, it saves the child. It saves the nephew from being targeted and potentially killed. Because Sagwa, he wouldn't care. As we even found out this episode, he wouldn't even care to kill a child. So he is not necessarily a man that will stop at something like that, even if it's a child. So yeah, I mean, in a way, indirectly, the father is protecting the nephew. But let's also talk about the situation with what he did for the nephew. So even though I called him a scumbag, he did do something relatively good. He was a good person in a certain moment of this episode. He actually went out of his way to protect his grandchild, and he jumped in front of the Herald. And obviously the Herald, as we've seen, is very strong, OP. No normal human could really fight it. So him doing something like that does show that he cares about his family deeply. And he's willing to even offer his own life up if it means protecting his family. So even though he's a scumbag, it is obvious that he does care about his family. But this doesn't excuse what he has done, because even the, greatest of people can do some real heinous and horrible stuff. So that doesn't excuse what he has already done. But I want to end it there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, how you felt about this week's episode. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Please be honest in the comments below. And if you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And I love you guys. Please be safe. Chibi out.